Hey there, I'm Margaret Gill, and welcome to the Top 10 Speaking Tips. This is a series designed to help the novice speaker get on stage. So you'll overcome your fears. We'll talk about many of the fears that people have before they step on stage. And I'll just give you some little antidotes. But I can honestly tell you, right up front, right at the start of this program, you will very likely be very nervous when you go on. And that's normal. That we're looking for that, in fact, because if you're not nervous, it shows you don't care. And if you talk to any of the big musical artists, any of the big speakers, they'll always say there's a bit of, I've done it 100 times, but it's always a bit edgy. And the reason, I'll tell you the reason why that is before we get into the content today. So today's content is always speak on what you're passionate about. But before we get into that, why don't I tell you why you get nervous? And once you understand this, it breaks the barrier for a lot of people. The reason you get nervous is because we are breaking with tradition when we speak. So back in the olden days, when there were tribes and there were cowboys and Indians and things like that going on, it was very important to stay with the tribe. If you broke from the tribe, you were in danger. And we still have that innate thing built into us. Even these days, that chance of going out and getting killed by somebody or eaten by a bear or something like that, it's a lot slimmer than it was in the olden days. So people used to clump together. And as humans, we are very, very programmed to go to that tribal base. And what happens is that when we speak, we actually break from the tribe. So the audience is out there, they're the tribe, they're all together, they're all happy, they're all doing what tribes do. And when we break away from that tribe and come up the front, we're actually going into a little bit of grief and a little bit of separation anxiety because we have broken from the tribe. It's like when you leave home for the first time. There's a big adventure that's going to be happening, but you're a little sad about leaving your family and all of those things. And that's what speaking does. Speaking puts you at the front of the room and you're in front of an audience, and that's why you get so nervous about it. And it's not irrational. Your body will go into fear. Yes, it will. And the reason it does that is because you need to be a little bit bigger when you speak. You need to be a little bit more animated, a little bit more out there. Boring speakers are the ones that come on, and they're like this and they go on and on. And it gets really boring really fast, doesn't it, when people are like that? But if you picked yourself up, you're a bit more animated, you're smiling and you're laughing with the crowd and things like that. You need that little bit of kick from your adrenals to do that, to pump up and to get out there. And so what's happening is your body is filling with adrenaline before you go on. That is giving you that ability to fight or flight. It's filling you with the fight or flight energy because it is scary. There's a good chance you might get out the middle of there and go, run! I don't think many people do, but that's what's going on in the body. The body's reaction to that is that. So your body is full of adrenaline, so little wonder you're going to start to shake a bit and you'll get nervous, and the gut is the one that plays up the most. You do spend quite a lot of time in the bathroom before you speak, but it's a good thing because it's literally, let's get down to it here, ladies and gentlemen. You're literally clearing the shit. And you're getting ready to go on and face the audience. And so it's very, very important that you understand that with the fear and with the nerves, it is actually an important part of speaking. And as soon as you get up there, they will start to go away. And even if they don't, even if you're like that for the whole session, well, just know it's normal. Know it's something you're going to get through. And you're going to be getting better and better at it each time you speak. So I never recommend you go out and do a big room full of people like I did. When I did my first official speaking engagement, I spoke to my peers at the International Coach Federation. I put my hand up at a meeting one day and went, yeah, what a great idea. Silly idea, Margaret, silly idea to go and speak as a novice coach to a jury of your peers. They were amazing though, and they genuinely came up afterwards and thanked me. They said how much heart I spoke with, and it was that first time that I'd actually been recognised as a person that speaks from the heart and speaks with a lot of connection and a lot of emotion. So that was awesome, but I don't probably recommend you do that. I'm one of those off the deep end kind of people, but you could get it over and done with first, is my attitude. But what you could do is start with some little free talks and build your way up, places where you're not going to get into too much trouble. And that's why I say talk about a topic you're passionate about, and make sure that the people in the audience are also passionate about the same topic. And you might go, oh, why would I do that? Well, because we want them on side. What I'm not teaching you to do is to be the Martin Luther King at this time. A novice coach, there was a time when Martin Luther King was probably a really awful speaker. He built up to that point where he could transform thousands of people. We're talking about getting you started, and get started in a place where you can be comfortable, where there's people like you who love your topic. And you might have a particular interest in a part of that topic. Well, go along and speak about that. And you might say, oh, but people in the audience will know what I'm talking about. They may, and they may not. Because what can happen is you might talk about something that they know 9 out of 10 of the things that you share with them, but that 1/10th of a thing that you share is the thing they've been looking for. You never know when you're making a difference when you're speaking. And look, if I went along and I saw somebody speaking with passion, sharing their story, sharing and being vulnerable with the audience and delivering a lot of value, I would be right behind that person. Even if I knew every single tip that they made, I'd be right with them, because you're showing a respect to the topic that's being talked about. And when you think about it, one of the big fears that people do have is that someone will challenge you from the audience. And I've had that happen. I was at the Mornington Massage Therapy Association speaking for free on the particular day that I had to drive down there. It was going to be a long journey for me anyway, because it was probably a 3-hour there and 3-hour back journey. But it snowed the day that I was due to drive out, and I had to go out via it added another hour and a half to the journey, because I had to go out via another city, and in the totally opposite direction that I wanted to go. And I had to go out and then loop back around down the highway, and then start doing the journey. And so I was tired, and there's a little clue. I was tired. I was a little bit vulnerable. And someone just all of a sudden stood up in front of the audience, and I was speaking about how to make money in your business doing massage, and she just got incensed. She was like, how dare you say I need to charge money for massage? How dare you? And she got really up there, and I was like, whoa, oh, we've heard this happens, Margaret, it's happening. So no, it happens. But if you're passionate about your topic, you can solve those things. And what I said to her was, look, I've been asked to come today and speak to you about having a successful business. The only way I know to have a successful business is to charge for your services. So that's why I'm speaking about this. I'm really sorry if it doesn't agree with what you want to think about the way that you're going to do massage. And please, you don't have to take anything that I say tonight away with you, but I'm here to help. I'm here to help, and look, you can come and talk to me afterwards about it if you feel that you would like to. Please do that. But in the meantime, I've been employed to talk about this topic, so I'm just going to keep going. And she sat down again. She just wanted to be heard, I think. It was one of the most extraordinary things I've ever been part of, because it's very unusual for a massage therapist to come up out of the crowd like that. I spoke to kinesiologists a lot, and they're really interesting. So one will sit there, one will sit there, one will sit there, one will sit there, one will sit there. There's all a space in between. They don't like to sit together. And I used to have to ask them to come and clump together, and you could see that they would rather have been in their little separate spots. Massage therapists, however, come straight into the room and go, they're straight together, they're all together, and they're all massaging each other, and they're touching each other. It's full on. It's really funny how different people do different things. And so it was quite unusual for her to come out of the audience like that. And I hope I dealt with it well. I wouldn't have meant to have not deal with it well, but it happens. Sometimes it happens. And you you can be prepared for that by knowing that I got through it. And then I got in the car and drove back the 3 hours through the snow and sleet and rain and all of that. That's what we do as speakers. We do that stuff. And it's important to be passionate about a topic. So if I wasn't passionate about that topic, I would have been beside myself by the time I got down to their meeting that night. And, you know, as I was unpacking the car, the wind's howling through, like we're talking a serious snowstorm. And had I not been passionate, I would have just turned around halfway. And as it was, I met there one of my most supportive people ever, the lovely Leah from Valencia. And I met her there. So, you see, we never know when we're making a difference. And the one person that didn't like me, there would have been 10 in the audience that did, and 10 that took away something that was really, really helpful to them. And we have to keep that in mind. So that's the big golden rule, folks. Speak upon what you're passionate, because you'll be surprised how much you know about it. What I find is that people over-prepare. So for a 10-minute talk, they've probably got about an hour prepared, and are surprised when their 10 minutes are up. I'm always surprised when the gong goes at 10 minutes, because you'll be surprised at what you know. Once you get speaking, you'll be really surprised at what you already know and what you've got to share. And when I tell people all I have to do in a half-hour talk is make 3 points, they're like, oh, only 3? But I want to make 10. It's like, well, probably don't do 10, because you're in 30 minutes, if you do 10 points, that gives you 3 minutes per point. And they're like, oh, yeah, don't think about that. So there's lots of maths involved in speaking, and there's lots of things that you need to know. And that's why I teach courageous speaking, and why I have my little inspiring speaking course as well that you can purchase online, because there's so much to know. And you might guess I'm a little bit passionate about sharing it with people, because what I've come to understand is when people do go out and speak, everything changes. It changed for me. And in future videos, I'm going to share with you how I figured out that I needed to speak, because I was the unlikeliest person ever to take on speaking. And man, the first time I went out, I was just so nervous. I can't tell you how nervous and how petrified I was, and how I just wanted to run from the stage. But once you get up there, it's actually okay. It's actually fine. Once you get going, most of it is getting going. And that's where passion and knowing your topic backwards. If you go on stage knowing that if the worst case scenario happens, say the power goes out and you can't have your PowerPoint working, you can step to the front of the room and go, well, bit of a shame the power went out, isn't it? Isn't it awesome that the organizer bought some candles? Let's just talk about this right now. And you can just pull something out of the air and speak on it. And everybody has that ability to speak for 10 minutes on something. And if you've got an audience that is also willing and welcoming that information, you'll be a winner. You will always be a winner when you speak on your passion to an audience that wants to hear what you want to hear. Now, in future years, yes, you can start. Once you've got some credibility up, once you've got some confidence up, once you're able to convince an audience, there's 3 C's. Listen to that. Credibility, convincing, and something else I said. 3 C's. Once you've got the 3 C's, you can then start to do topics that challenge you a bit more and things like that. In the early days, don't. Make it easy on yourself. So thank you for listening to the Top 10 Speaking Series. I hope you're going to get lots of value from it. I'm looking forward to sharing lots of cool tips for you. And I hope that I will see you in one of my workshops at some stage. Don't forget to give me some love. Leave me a comment below if you've enjoyed the topic. And I will look forward to seeing you in the next topic. And yeah, just go out there, folks, and be remarkable. Bye now.